Hi, my name is Nicole Carletti, journalist from aviNews, and it's a pleasure to stay here today in the Américas Agricultural Cooperators Conference with Stan and Carlos. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Pleasure
to be here.
Well, the first question is for you, Stan. As a chairman of USSEC, could you tell us about the efforts made by USSEC through these events to expand the knowledge of worldwide?
Right, thank you, Nicole. These are great events for us to be able to, as you mentioned, spread the knowledge, share our technical capabilities, particularly targeting those industry leaders in a variety of different areas in pork production, poultry production, eggs, with various associations, industry associations, as well as crush and feed producers. So it's unique that we have the opportunity to bring all of those segments together into one place and all the key leaders in one place. So it creates a great opportunity for us to collaborate and to create a forum for they to collaborate with each other as well. So this is a signature event for us, one that I'm always excited to come and join the regional team to have a part of that. And so we're really excited to be here and glad to have the media here as well to help tell that story.
Okay, thank you. The next question is the same for you. And we know that USSEC has established a development center called SEC. What initiatives are being carried out there?
Yeah, so this is a great point. As I mentioned, today is all about having industry leaders come together from a variety of different industries. But the SECs, which is the Soy Excellence Center, is a different cohort. It's a different audience. And who it's about is about creating knowledge and teaching the basics about application of soy protein and animal diets and other applications, not to industry leaders, but to the next generation. So we're targeting to build capacity in the people that are the up and coming leaders, the future leaders. And so it's starting with a younger group and helping them understand the benefits of U.S. soy. I am super excited about the SEC because it's connecting with these younger people in their career. And the second part is it's creating a virtual community for them to collaborate together. You know, we talked about collaboration of the leaders here, but this is creating a virtual community for these young leaders to be able to communicate with each other and build confidence and understanding and learn from each other as well as from the content that we provide.
Thank you. It's a really good initiative. The next question is for Carlos. Carlos, in your role as Regional Director of Americas, could you tell us about the challenge of U.S. soybeans faced in the region, both in the present and the near future?
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure I would call them challenges. I would say there's a lot of opportunities.
Opportunities,
right?
Sure.
Because it is a region that it is growing. It is a region that has very deep and connected roots to the U.S. soy industry. We are geographically connected with, for example, Mexico, but also we have a logistical network of shipments out of different ports out of the U.S. connecting our countries, right? So we have the capacity to make that connection and supply those customers. As we move forward, right, our countries continue to grow, you know, our per capita income continues to increase, right? There's foreign investment coming in the country. Yes, we do have our challenges, but we are better off than we were probably 20 years ago. Right? And that comes along with a per capita consumption of meat, of protein in different countries. And we have to supply that. Our job is to supply that in a very efficient, cost-effective way, right? And I think the opportunity, not to call it challenges, but is to help the industry become more efficient. Stan is doing his job on the farm. He's producing more with less. He's got smart agricultural practices, smart sustainable practices, right? To be able to produce those soybeans the most efficient way possible. The industry is working on trying to make the logistics the most efficient possible. But it is a job for USSEC to work with different stakeholders in the region. I'm talking customers, I'm talking governments, I'm talking different associations that we work closely with, right? And elevate their level right, of knowledge. So they have the capacity, whether it's through the SEC, whether it's through technical trainings or trade missions, so they learn how to optimize the ingredients and the raw materials to be able to produce more with less, to be able to take that feed conversion ratio, the amount of feed that you need, reduce that to produce the kilo of meat that we're talking about. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at. I think that's the challenge, because that's going to translate into a cheaper protein to the final user, to the child that is consuming those eggs in the school is going to translate to a cheaper protein for the family, right? And that's very important. If we don't do that, the world has a limited amount of resources, right? And we do not want, again, we do not want not have enough.
Okay, thank you. And what is your regional vision for U.S. soybeans? What market opportunities exist currently?
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Sure. What is your regional vision for U.S. soybeans and what market opportunities exist currently?
Yeah, no, I think it's a very valid question. We are today in the U.S. going through a transformation in our soybean processing industry. For various reasons, it is expanding quite a bit. And I think I mentioned earlier, today, we export close to 12.5 million metric tons of soybean meal, right? And based on the analysis of different experts, right, it is very likely that we may export in 5 years or 6 years 24 million metric tons or 20 million metric tons of soybean meal, a significant increase, right? That means that our product is going to have to find its pathway through the system. It's going to find its way into the formulation, right, and the consumption of different countries in Latin America. And given that 7 out of the top 10 soybean meal buyers for the United States are in Latin America will play an important role. We have some challenges in countries where we don't have a large market share. Ecuador, we are achieving over 50% market share, which is a great challenge, but it's been a great development to see. Peru, we're working on. Chile, we now have 10 to 50% market share. And we expect that over time, we're going to grow that gradually, right? But again, it's one of the challenges that we have in front of us. But I think it's a good challenge. It's good to have a lot of raw material for the poultry producers in the countries that are experiencing difficult times, sometimes because of volatility, market prices, right? We offer a good alternative, a sustainable alternative.
It's a good opportunity.
It's a good opportunity.
Okay, this is the final question for both. To conclude, could you please share the most significant challenge the USSEC faced regarding soybean production and marketing?
I think one of the most vexing problems is this incessant volatility in pricing that we experience. It creates a challenge or opportunity for both us and the farming sector as producers, as well as our customers and consumers. And my concern about that volatility is it makes it hard for our customers to predict, when to buy and how to buy. And when it gets out of hand, it can cause demand destruction. And so it means that they won't use the product. And when that happens, then that opportunity to get protein into kids' diets is challenged. And so that, I think, is one of the most vexing concerns that I have. And I hope that things can level out, be a little bit more predictable. It would just make it easier for both producers as well as consumers and processors to be able to do their business.
Sure. And what do you think, Carlos?
Well, I'm going to steal some of the words of our CEO. He talked about 3 C's, 4 C's, and even 5 C's, right? First time he mentions 5 C's on this event. But I think it's interesting to take a look at currency and climate, right? Currency, you're from Colombia, you have experienced that devaluation, that volatility in devaluation, which, assuming that the price of the raw material is consistent, it is dollarized. That means that you require more pesos colombianos to be able to buy the same raw material, right? That volatility is tremendously dangerous, right? And that volatility comes because of many different reasons that we can probably not discuss on this event right now. But the other one is climate. I mentioned earlier, we do believe that we co-produce protein around the world. We welcome the production from Argentina and Brazil because they're an important supplier in different times of the year. But Argentina just went through a tremendous drought. They were supposed to produce 50 million metric tons of soybeans. Now they're only producing 20 million metric tons of soybeans. That was partially offset with increases in Brazil, but not fully, right? Now we're entering in the US, and the US, yes, we have a vast footprint. We think we're going to have a good crop, but some areas may have challenges that may reduce our overall crop a little bit. So climate is a main driver, right? And climate is not only impacting us, it's impacting regions in Europe as well. You know, we had rivers in Europe that were no longer navigable. You couldn't put vessels in them, or you couldn't put boats in them because the draft was too low. So when we think about it, I think currency and climate, right, and not to mention conflict, which is the other C, right, will play a role. And my only advice and suggestion would be that our companies in Latin America, the poultry producer, that hog producer, get solid advice on risk management, right? That they get the right people to help them on how to navigate these turbulent waters. Because if you don't have solid risk management, you can be out of position and you can go out of business if you don't do things well. So I think it's volatile times. I think we have to be careful, but I think there's also many opportunities if we do things properly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for both.
Thank you.
And it's all for today.
All right, yay, we graduate.